Ladies and gentlemen, it is indeed a rare honor and privilege for all of us to have the President of India, Mr. Pranab Mukherjee, with us, and I request him to share his thoughts with us.
Honourable Governor of West Bengal, Shri Keshari Nath Tripathi, Shri Chandra Ghosh, Founder, Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of Bandhan Bank, Dr. Ashok Kumar Lahiri, Chairman Bandhan Bank, Shri N.S. Vishwanathan, Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India, members of the Bandhan Bank families, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed a pleasure for me to be present on the first anniversary of Bandhan Bank, as I was invited to inaugurate the start of Bandhan Bank, but because of certain compelling reasons, I could not avail that opportunity last year. Finance Minister did the job, and I am happy to have this opportunity to be present on the first anniversary of Bandhan Bank. It was in October 2010. More or less by an accident, I came to know one gentleman in a program at my village in the Birbhum district, normally where I go every year during the Durga Puja festivals, because we have some ancestral puja, and almost invariably I attend that. In 2010 October, on such occasion, I met Mr. Chandra Ghosh in an innocuous function of the rural credit. I was interested in learning his story of organizing the self-help group and working very effectively in providing microfinance to the rural poor, and at the same time carrying on the basic principles of banking business. I had the privilege of being associated with the Ministry of Finance, particularly with the Department of Revenue and Banking. Just after 6-7 years of the nationalization of 14 commercial banks in July 1969, which brought almost 85% of the banking business in India under public sector, I was appointed as Minister in charge of Banking and Revenue in 1975. And thereafter, on several occasions, whenever I had been in the government, whether in the Ministry of Finance or in Planning Commission as its Deputy Chairman, I closely watched the development of the Indian banking system. And I have no hesitation to tell you, I had some satisfaction in one of the meetings of the G20 finance ministers after the major financial crisis of 2008, When Indian banking sector was praised, as you know, the major victim of that major international financial crisis was the banking system in Europe and part of North America. Therefore, it was some sense of satisfaction, but at the same time I knew the inherent problems which have crept in. On the one hand, we have the problem of reaching out to the people, as Chandrasekhar was very correctly pointing out, and what is not his theoretical conception of the issue, but it is his practical experience while working and organizing the microfinancing, self-help groups in the rural areas. As banking minister, it was a starting revolution to me when in 1974 I received 75. I received the report of the Narasimhan Committee that despite 6 years of nationalization of the commercial banks, major commercial banks, huge extension of the cooperative movement, the institutional credit facilities to the rural people was less than 24%. Various efforts were made. I also made my own humble contribution in establishing an institution like Regional Rural Bank, where we thought the efficiency of the commercial banks and the flexibility of the cooperative approach will build a combination and some sort of barefoot banking system to reduce the overhead cost of banking and providing the facilities and to reach the people who are outside the banking reach to a very large extent. As it is pointed out, even today, the access to banking facilities of India's total population, which is almost 1.3 billion, is not very encouraging. In addition to that, the problems which have emerged in respect of financing, managing the finances, managing the non-performing assets, and to have the appropriate proportion, sluggishness in recovery, injudicious advancing, clearly point out all the fault lines in the business. But on this occasion, I am not going to address this because I am out of administration. The day I took the oath as the President of the Republic, my membership of Parliament, my membership of the Union Cabinet already terminated. I ceased to be a political or executive person, simply being the constitutional head of the Republic to protect, preserve and defend the Constitution. Therefore, I am not making any comment on what efforts are being taken by the Reserve Bank of India. The Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India has outlined some of the issues you are reading in the newspapers and various journals. New Governor of RBI has taken over, and therefore it will be as a disciplinary and monetary authority of the disciplinary head of the banking system and monetary authority of the country. Reserve Bank will give its appropriate advice to the government of the day, and Finance Minister of the country, whose responsibility is to manage the economy, finance of this country, will take appropriate steps, I have no doubt in it. But in this occasion, I would like to share my appreciation of efforts of Chandra Shekhar and his colleagues. It was truly a great encouragement when the Reserve Bank of India selected just 2 institutions for having the banking license. When I decided as a policy matter and expressed my decision in the budget of 2010 as the then Finance Minister of India, that for a long time we have not issued any new licenses to the banking sectors. And I request the Reserve Bank of India to issue new licenses. The process started. And finally it came. And as Bandhan was regarded one of the entity to have this banking license, I felt extremely happy. The report which has been revealed both by the founder and managing director of the bank, Chandra Shekhar, and also when I was going through, rather glancing through the figures, it is quite encouraging, both from branch expansion point of view, deposit mobilization, and also advancement of the credit to the needy sectors. We shall have to be extremely cautious, no doubt, as bankers, because we are the custodians of the depositors' money. It is not our own earned money or inherited money. It is the money which are deposited to us with trust that it will not be misused. It will earn some income. That responsibility is sacrosanct. And at the same time, as an institution, as I mentioned to you, and the situation still remains grim. Even after 46 years of the bank nationalization, massive expansion of the bank branches, both rural and urban branches of the commercial banks, cooperative societies, regional rural banks, the institutional credit to the rural sectors, to the unorganized sector, still demands much more attention, much more things are to be required to be done to meet the institutional credit requirement of the unorganized rural sector. Your bank is filling in a great vacuum in that area. And from your experiences, I am quite confident that you will be able to discharge your responsibilities as the trustee of the depositors' money to protect, to ensure its safe investment, and at the same time, the credit requirement of the vast unorganized sectors who did not have these facilities. On this occasion, I would only like to express my deep appreciation to you, and also I am very happy to see one of my old associate, Dr. Ashok Lahiri, who represented India in the Asian Development Bank and was in the Finance Ministry as Secretary. After quite some time I am meeting him. I am glad to have that opportunity, but much more. I am happy to compensate my absence, which I committed to be present on the starting of Bandhan Bank. At least I am celebrating the first year of its existence along with you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
Thank you, Mr. President, sir. In conclusion, may I now request the Chairman of Bandhan Bank, Mr. Ashok.